Good afternoon. I call this Education Subcommittee of the Arts Commission to order. Can we have a roll call, please?
Chair Clevin.
Here.
Commissioner Hackett-Morgan.
Here.
Commissioner Douglas is excused, and Commissioner DeSantis.
Here.
Thank you. You have a quorum.
Great. Are we in compliance with the open meeting law?
Yes, we are.
All right. We'll go on to item 3, public comment. Comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. If you wish to be heard, please come forward and give your name for the record. The amount of discussion, as well as the amount of any time, or the amount of time any single speaker is allowed, may be limited. Do we have any public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 4. Discussion for possible action regarding the development of surveys related to a mentorship program and educational workshops. This affects all wards, and I'll turn it over to staff so we can kind of review this. I know that Commissioner DeSantis is new to the committee, so she may need a little bit more background.
This is Mary Sabo. So for item 4, we had discussed at the April subcommittee meeting the possibility of putting out a survey to kind of gauge what kind of what the community's needs and interests are in terms of workshops and mentorship programs. So we had discussed staff putting together a sample survey that then we could discuss at this meeting. So we've gone ahead and put together a sample here for item 4 with a few kind of rudimentary questions. So gauging for whomever is taking the survey, gauging their career level, whether that's emerging, mid-career, or established. The next question is asking what topics would like to be presented in public art workshops. Examples are artist calls, RFQs, RFPs, working on resumes, portfolio, websites, developing proposals, project management and planning, contracting and copyright, budgeting and financial management, grant applications, and then an option for them to input any additional topics. And in considering a mentorship program, gauging interest, yes or no, and if yes, would the individual be participating as a mentor or a mentee? And then asking potential mentors what topics and skills that they would be willing to present a workshop on. If you look on the other side of that sheet, there are some links, and I will share this via email as well. Just looking at other cities and organizations and how they structure workshops and mentorship programs specifically. There's a few examples of applications for mentors, applications for mentees. Once you get into the application part of the process, it's asking for a lot more detail, asking for resumes, CVs of mentors, some requirements for mentees as well. So this is kind of the basic, just what we've pulled together. And I wanted to bring this to the subcommittee to start talking about what we would maybe want to add to this preliminary survey. And then also thinking about when and how this would be distributed.
Here's Commissioner Hackett-Morgan. I think one thing that would be useful as I think about some of the younger artists that I know in the community, it would probably be useful for us to put some definitions onto what emerging, mid-career, and established means. I mean, even for old people like me, it'd be like, which one is me? But I think that would be a recommendation, but I think it looks really good.
Yeah.
I'm very, very happy with it.
This is Commissioner Clevin. I think it looks really good too. I don't see anything necessarily to add or take away. Commissioner DeSantis, do you have any comments on what you're seeing?
I did look at some of these sites that have the mentorship program examples, and they had a lot of information, and I thought they were really good. And so I guess you're just right now we're just determining if this sample survey, if these questions are good for the city to put out. Is that correct?
This is Mary Sabo. Yeah, generally, and like I said, this is a very preliminary survey. So yeah, it's just wanting to see if there's anything additional, maybe something on a survey relating to the demographic beyond just career level, but age group, neighborhood. There's other things that we might want to know about the communities that we would be offering the workshops to.
This is Commissioner
Okay,
Clement.
I understand. Like if it's a student, high school, college, an emerging artist, etc. Or with these, I did notice there was one. It was specifically for public art, and they were asking artists who had created public art. I can't remember what city it was, because they would mentor. I mean, you could mentor maybe established artists if they wanted to learn how to create or get involved with public art as well. I don't know if that.
This is Mary Sabo. I think I know which one you're referring to. There was one example, and I forget which one on this list, but it was actually they would issue RFPs with the intention of pairing up an established artist. That was part of the scope of work, was working with a younger artist, an emerging artist.
Well, and also maybe even an established artist who had not really been involved with public art, but maybe they want to become involved in public art, and then how to go about doing that. That's all. That's the only comment I really had.
This is Commissioner Hackett Morgan. Yeah, I think actually you're raising a really good point, Commissioner, that, public art is not a given for all established artists. So I don't think we would want to make this age restricted or student restricted, because it's there's always people that have a long exhibition record, but they have no experience working with contracts and things like that. So yeah, we should. That's why I say definitions, I think, are really important, because I don't think I would say that all students are emerging. I mean, so I think I'd be really curious if anybody else who puts out these kinds of calls has maybe done that bit of footwork for us. What did my guy always say in grad school? Never borrow, steal.
This is Commissioner Clement. I agree. I think some even definitions for RFQs and RFPs.
Yes.
But just to keep in mind, this is just a survey to figure out what it is we want to do next. This is just asking what are the types of programs people would want to see. So hopefully the artists come back and say, I'm an established artist, but I've never done public art. I'd like to get into public art, and I'd like to be paired with a mentor who can guide me in that way. So I think for me, my next question is, how do you guys send this who do you send it to, and how do you get that list?
This is Mary Sabo. I will say that currently we have several surveys out, so at the very least, we would want to wait until potentially August to release the survey, and I'm assuming that we would kind of approach it through our normal channels for distribution, our kind of internal lists, pushing it through city's social media, newsletters, our cultural newsletter. I'm not sure if any of the commissioners maybe have any other resources or ideas on distribution.
This is Commissioner Clevin. On the Arts Registry website, do people sign up there to receive this type of information specifically?
This is Laura Machado. That's a really good point. We do have a dedicated email list when we capture that information when they sign up, and we use that for our notifications for gallery programs and public art. And we're actually working with our communications department to develop a newsletter that's just for public art and galleries. And so we have that information, and we're also going to be developing QR codes. So if you want to subscribe to it, we'll send it to the Arts Commission. If you know people that would like to be on the list, or if you have recommendations, as long as they agree to subscribe to it, then they will receive this notification. I think Mary is right on point with saying the target date would be in August. So I know we're not going to be able to meet again, or we'll not have a meeting next month, and then August is another subcommittee, and then our annual meeting will be in September. So if you don't mind, if we develop this survey and then share it with you via email so that we can be on target to distribute it in August, if that's okay with this committee.
Sounds good with me.
Commissioner DeSantis, that's fine with me, and I was just thinking maybe distribute these somehow to UNLV as well. I don't know if we have a relationship with UNLV, but right now they're the only facility that has a fine art museum, and then of course their students and all their programs that they have. It might be nice to share with them this survey.
This is yes, CSN also as well. This is Commissioner Hackett Morgan, who's trying to get her thoughts together here. You know, I want to understand how we're going to dovetail with the county's program. You know, I mean, because I'm assuming, since the university's in the county, that's going to be kind of their bailiwick, but I mean, everybody should be on our survey, right? I mean, we really want to include everybody, and I'd like to suggest that we also work with our council people to get the surveys. You know, there's sometimes not enough interaction for us to, say, we need you to push this out to your wards and see what happens, see what sticks.
Yeah, this is Mary Sabo. I absolutely agree. And we do have connections with UNLV, staff members at CSN, Nevada Arts Council folks. So we'll make sure that they all get involved as well.
Commissioners, any other comments on this item?
This is Commissioner Hackett Morgan. I guess I have a lot to say. I mean, there should probably be at least a threshold of who we're really targeting, because, I mean, we could include, you know, the Las Vegas Academy. We could, but I think we need to decide kind of what's our sort of threshold. You know, I don't think when we put out calls, right, like say for, I'm so bad, I can't remember what the city's utility box is called. BAM? AMP, okay, as opposed to ZAP, okay, sorry. But, you know, there's an age limit, right, for who can apply to those things, so maybe, I'm assuming that's correct.
Yes, that's correct. We have worked with students in the past on, I think, one round. But generally for all of our calls, we do 18 and over.
This is Laura Machado, just to jump in. I wanted to mention that we have hired a new part-time technician in public art who is going to be tasked with this initiative for education and community outreach. So Kushandra James started on Monday, and once she's up and running in the system, she's going to have a meeting with Mary, and we're going to talk about not only what you're saying, that we need to be more proactive in artist opportunities, but also working with all different age levels. So maybe this is focused towards emerging professional artists, but we would also like to engage with the younger youth in the community. So I don't know if you want to talk about that at a later date, maybe at an upcoming meeting. I just wanted to mention it.
Commissioner Hackett-Morgan, yeah, I think, that would be a good thing for us to add to a future committee agenda, because, those kids that I'm seeing, these students are ready to go. And that will be an important constituency to serve.
Yeah.
Commissioner Westfield, since it's 18-year-olds, I would think.
Because she's not on this subcommittee.
Oh, I thought they asked me to come here. Just speak. No, that's fine. I'll just wait.
You just have to speak for
It's not that important. No,
Sorry.
that's fine. No, because they asked me to come at 3:30. That's fine.
This is Commissioner Clevin. One other item I wanted to bring up, because we're looking for mentors, it'll be really important to get this survey to some of the artists who have won larger public art awards to see if they're even interested in mentoring, because they may not. They may not want to work with a mentee on a large project either. So just making sure everybody feels comfortable in this program.
Commissioner Hackett-Morgan, I would also add, are we going to limit any of this by geography? Or are we willing to look at public artists from outside Nevada?
Yeah, this is Commissioner Clevin. I think we should, but I think that we should look outside Nevada. If we're able and we have the budget to bring people in and they're willing to do a workshop, I don't see why we shouldn't, because that is actually going to build the professional development of the existing public art artists we have so that they can go outside of Nevada and win large awards too. But I think that Kushandra is probably going to have a good plan for this the next time we meet, and then maybe we can get a report from her about how she sees this looking, how she sees implementing this as a part-time employee too. Commissioner DeSantis, anything else on item 4?
No, I think that's fabulous. I was thinking if you went outside of Nevada, I know some really good muralists that might want to, that have experience in public art murals in LA, who might want to do that. I think it's a great idea.
Great. This is Commissioner Clevin. Then we will await seeing the final survey via email, and then looking forward to getting it out in August. And for all of those who work with their commissioner or council people, we'll get it out to the council people too. Okay, we'll move on to item 5, which I'm hoping we can obey. It's a discussion for possible action regarding the development of a cultural appropriation workshop. This was suggested by Commissioner Douglas, who's not here today. So I'd like to obey this item until the next education subcommittee. All in favor? Do we vote on this? Commissioner Clevin, I move to obey this item until our next Education Subcommittee meeting on October 19th.
Commissioner Hackett Morgan, second.
All commissioners in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, great. Motion passes. So we'll go on to item number 6, discussion regarding topics for future agenda items. Comments made during this portion of the agenda by individual members shall refer solely to proposals for future agenda items, and any discussion shall be limited to whether or not such proposed items are within the purview of the subcommittee and or whether such proposed items shall be placed on a future agenda item. No discussion regarding the substance of any such proposed topic shall occur and no action shall be taken. So for the commissioners on the subcommittee, are there any items you'd like for October's meeting? Commissioner Clevin, maybe at that time we review survey results? If we're able to get it out in August? Okay, great. Thank you. Commissioner DeSantis, anything?
Not at this time.
Great. So we'll move on then to item 7, citizens participation. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the subcommittee. No subject may be acted upon by the subcommittee unless that subject is on the agenda and is scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, please come forward and give your name for the record. The amount of discussion on any single subject, as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed, may be limited. Any citizens participation? All right, seeing none, I adjourn this subcommittee meeting.